Okay, 1 p.m. in UK, 3 p.m. here in Finland. So let's get started. Welcome to today's Firstbeat webinar and greetings from Finland. Today's topic is Create Impactful Wellness Services with Physiological Data. I'm Tina Hoffman from Firstbeat, and today's speaker is my colleague Tim Wright, who is joining me from the UK. The webinar is going to be 45 minutes long. You can write questions in the Q&A box that you can see at the bottom of the screen. And at the end of the session, Tim and I will then read them out and answer them. A recording will also be available for you afterwards. And after I do a short introduction to Firstbeat and Firstbeat Life, Tim will focus today on the business angle of how to integrate physiological data into whatever kind of coaching service you're providing. He'll provide some tips for promoting and even pricing the service, and also share some examples of user stories and examples from other professionals who are already using this, or already doing the Firstbeat Life as part of their job. But first, a short introduction to the background, especially for our new listeners. So Firstbeat was founded 20 years ago in Finland. That's where our headquarters is, but we operate in 70 countries today, or over 70 countries today. And we are truly considered a pioneer in heart rate variability-based physiological coaching and analytics. We provide different solutions to improve well-being and performance, both on sports fields and in different coaching services. Over 1,000 elite sports teams worldwide are using Firstbeat Sports in, for example, Premier League, Champions League, and all the major sport leagues around the world. And in addition to that, the focus of today, which will be Firstbeat Life, the wellness offering that we have, over 1,500 health and wellness professionals around the world are using Firstbeat Life in their own service. Our background is strongly in science. We have 20 years of heart rate variability-based research and data collection behind us, and we still continually go back to the laboratories to validate our methods and make sure that everything is based on science and validation studies. And let's look a little bit next about heart rate variability itself. That's the basis of all the measurements that we do, both with Firstbeat Sports and with Firstbeat Life. We want to collect data that's very accurate. So that means that we are analyzing heart rate variability. And what that is the beat-by-beat changes in heart rate. How much this time between beats varies from one beat to the next. These are millisecond values that you can see here. So we are detecting the R wave and then measuring the time between heartbeats. And this phenomena called heart rate variability, it's mediated by the autonomic nervous system. And in a way, it allows us to get a view into the sympathetic part of the nervous system, which is the activating part that mobilizes our body's resources and gets us ready for action, sort of the fight or flight of the nervous system. And then the parasympathetic part, which is the calming down, the recovery when heart rate slows down and heart rate variability increases. And when we do our analytics, we utilize heart rate variability as a window into what's happening in the body, the physiological processes that are going on to show what's happening actually in real life. And that brings us to Firstbeat Life, which is the offering that we are going to be mainly or principally focusing on today. So it's the idea of that is to enhance your coaching and wellness services by providing accurate physiological data. The platform, the Firstbeat Life platform, includes a personal measurement device. You can see a picture of that here, Firstbeat Bodyguard 3. That's a very highly accurate heart rate variability device that measures every beat during the measurement time, designed to be worn multiple days at a time. And in addition to the device, each person who is using the device has their Firstbeat Life mobile app on their phone that allows them to get all of their results in the app. When they end the measurement, they can see their results on their own app. And then the coach, the professional who is using the Firstbeat Life service, has access to the client's results via an admin platform that allows you to see your client's results and then allow effective discussion based on that. The big difference to the Firstbeat Lifestyle Assessment that many of you are familiar from previous years is that the client typically has this device for a longer period of time that allows them to make multiple measurements and really learn from that. And also that the result comes directly into the app instead of a report that you would somehow create and then mail to them. So this makes it a much more effective coaching tool because it's possible to follow progress and try different things as part of coaching that you're doing. And then providing insights about stress and recovery, balance, sleep, and exercise. And also group reporting is available. So the admin platform that you will have access to, if you have larger groups or groups of people, you can provide anonymous group results to identify different kind of trends and risks and effectiveness of the actions that you're doing with that group. And before I let Tim on, let's take a quick look at the typical example. So this is a 24-hour graph from Firstbeat Life. Familiar to many of you, the red color means the sympathetic dominance, energy or activation belongs to life. It's okay to have that. The green color means parasympathetic dominance. The recovery process is taking place. And the whole focus is on the balance between these things. So we calculate stress and recovery balance, we calculate restorative effect of sleep, and we calculate the health effects of physical activity, the blue color here. And the client is keeping a journal during the measurement. And this is really the essence of the coaching that you do, because you can see how the client is coping with different aspects of their lifestyle and then truly customize the plan for them to learn, for example, what kind of things are causing excessive stress or what kind of things are helping them recover, and then tweak or fine tune their daily structure or their daily plans to make sure that they're getting enough recovery. And that's kind of at the heart of the coaching process, is to discuss these kinds of examples. But now I want to welcome Tim Wright, who has worked with Firstbeat for, I think, 15 years now, and today is working with our strategic partnerships. We worked together from my early days. Tim was coming on board at the same time as I came to Firstbeat, and we've let him experience through Finland in many forms. When he's come to visit, he's gotten to take saunas and swim in cold lakes. And in this picture here, this was a few years ago, I got to take him kayaking on the local lake here. And believe it or not, we managed to stay upright, although there was a few hairy moments in there. But it's great to have you with us today.
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah, I'll give the stage to you now.
Thanks, Tina, and appreciate that. Yeah, that photo brings back many memories. I've been to Finland many times. That was in the summer. You can see that posture of mine is not a posture of a physio, but I am actually a physio. But I look back at it and think, why am I sitting like that? But Tina's posture is amazing. So she really should be the physio there. But yeah, I need to work on my posture and my kayaking skills. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun, ice lakes, all that sort of stuff. Ice into saunas. But yeah, so a little bit about me. Hello everybody out there in the world. I know we've got a big viewer population or listening population today from right around the world, so thanks for joining. A little bit about me. I'm a former physio, as I said. I'm an Australian who is now living in the UK in Kent, and I am very interested. My journey has been as a clinical physiotherapist working in elite sport, from rugby, Premiership rugby, London Irish, into county cricket and a little bit of England cricket with Sussex and Surrey and London and Sussex on the south coast. And that journey led me into actually having my own business, doing corporate physio and building corporate physio into the city of London and Canary Wharf, which I sold then to a company called Nuffield Health. And after doing that earnout period, I was very interested in consulting, especially always in preventative healthcare. And around digital health. And I guess the last 10 to 15 years has been all around digital health. The first digital health company I met was Firstbeat. It was an R&D spin out from university in Jyväskylä in central Finland. I fell in love in terms of what Firstbeat's mission was and where they're going to, and I've been on that journey ever since. And it's been an amazing ride. One thing I love is not just the technology, but what we're trying to do from a coaching and training point of view as well. So welcome all. What I want to talk about really today is that we've got a great bit of technology, we've got great research, and we've got a great product market fit for many different areas. But I really want to focus on my experience over the last sort of 14 years with Firstbeat, and this is moving from the Firstbeat Lifestyle Assessment into Firstbeat Life, of what really are the recipes for success, where people have been successful using Firstbeat Life or the Firstbeat Lifestyle Assessment. And the first three, I think, are vitally important on this slide. When I say sell the product, sell the solution, not the product, and supportive technology and embedding Firstbeat Life into your service, what I really mean there is we are a supportive technology. And that is where I think the positioning is either won or lost. Firstbeat itself is a great brand. We are a global brand. We are known for our heart rate variability, but we are not a B2C proposition. So therefore, we're probably not a household name. So we're very much around, and our go-to-market strategy is very much around supporting the coaches, the wellness health coaches, clinicians, etc., who want to use our data to enhance their service and enhance their coaching. So I really want to be clear is that where I've seen people probably not be as successful as where they try to sell the product or our brand. And I'm actually saying it's all about your proposition, and what Firstbeat Life is very much, we play a supporting role in terms of supporting you and your service. You know, we have got amazing data, amazing technology, and we support you. So those first three really go together. We are supportive technology, but we also like, where I've seen it work well on an individual and a group level, and I will touch on this in terms of the case studies at the end, is when the proposition of Firstbeat Life is embedded within the proposition. So, you know, a little thing I was reflecting on last night is when you go to the doctor and they run various tests on you, they don't talk about the brand of the stethoscope or the ECG monitor. They provide it as a tool to support their clinical outcomes, to provide their clinical service. And that's the way that we see ourselves with you guys as well. I think the other thing is on the fourth point is we need, there's a real focus on key outcome measures as USP. What are the outcome measures? And I've got a slide on this to share with you. Is that what are the outcome measures that we can provide you with your service? You know, is it stress and recovery? Is it around resting heart rate? Is it heart rate variability? Is it restorative effective sleep? These are the ones that we can provide for you to give you the USP of your service. So that's kind of key as well. So I'll be talking about that. Then it's about the quality of the data and, you know, what we provide. So I will talk towards the end a little bit about wearables and where we believe that we fit. But one of the key things about us is that we get part of the ECG trace. We are a sensor, and we won't compromise on the quality of our data. We work with hundreds, if not thousands, of research institutions doing projects on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis where they use Firstbeat in their research because of the quality of the beat-to-beat variation data or the heart rate variability data. So that's key for us. And that's where, you know, we aren't a direct competitor or a proposition to, say, a wristwatch wearable, because it's like comparing an apple and an orange. We are not getting what they call a PPG measurement from a wristwatch. We are getting part of the ECG trace. So the quality of data is different. And, you know, some people, or your coaching, you will have clients that want to wear their Garmin, their Sunto, their Whoop, or whatever. They can do that and continue to do this, but this can run parallel. This can very much be the deeper insights on highly accurate data that you use as a coaching tool. So I just wanted to make that clear, and I'll touch on that towards the end as well. The other thing is it's about a model now about assisting you to make revenue. So, you know, we are in it in terms of clinical measures and all the other things I've mentioned, but, you know, we got to make some money as well from a P&L point of view and from a margin point of view. So the new model Firstbeat Life is about giving you a product at a cost that then you can put a margin on. So it's about how you build that margin into your proposition. And that's where I think Firstbeat Life is really useful from an embedded solution, so that you can embed in your cost of the device and the other subscription, etc., but also providing a margin on top of those. But you've also got to think about your coaching and other variables as well. So one thing I was reflecting on is I do think you need to put at least a margin of a minimum of about 30%. That is totally up to you. You could have less or more. But you've got the flexibility with this model to do that, and very much around what your proposition is, what's your target market. You will know that, and you will know how to price accordingly. But you do need to take into consideration of knowing what your costs are and knowing what sort of margin you're going to put onto. And that leads me on to the other one. You need to be really crystal clear about what your costs are, what the Firstbeat Life costs are around devices, subscriptions, logistics and postage, and those electrodes, etc. So, if you're an existing user and you've got an account manager from the sales and commercial, please reach out to us and we can assist you there. We can send you links, and we have got links that we can follow up with today to send you what they are. But know your costs. It's important to know that so that you're fully aware and transparent of the costs that will be in terms of the system. If I move on, I do think one of the real USPs that Firstbeat Life and Firstbeat do, and this is a real credit to what Tina has done over the many years, is put together a world-class certification training program, 6 modules, 3 to 5 hours that you do online, that provides you with the knowledge of heart rate variability and obviously physiology, but also the system, so that you know how to use the system. And this gives you the unique selling point of being a certified Firstbeat Life user, so that you've got something that you can use that's research grade, but you also know everything about it. So any specialist that comes on board goes through that training. And one thing that I've noticed is that if you've done your training and you've done it well and you've gone through it, you're more likely to achieve or succeed, I should say. So please don't skip that. I think it's a really important recipe for being successful, or being a recipe for success. And Tina is very much at the forefront of being a master coach, as well as Nigel Stockill here in the UK. And we've got some of the best people that know around heart rate variability in the world. So learn from the best, I would say. I would also say that, use the system yourself and to get to know the front end and the back end portal. What I would say there is know yourself, know your own physiology before you go out and to put it on other people. So I think it's really essential that you get your own device as a specialist, that you use it on a regular basis, and that you understand your own physiology. Because if you understand your insights, you're going to be so much better of a coach on your clients. So get to know yourself first and then use it on your clients. I think that's a really key message that I'd like to put out there today. On the portal, which is the back end part of the coaches, where you see all your clients' assessments, where you do your ordering from, etc., you get to know that portal really well, because the orientation around that, and that comes with the online training and also with a follow-up onboarding call, I think is really vital for success as well. So know the front end of what the client gets and know the back end of what you'll be coaching off, and also ordering your devices, etc. If you know that, you'll be crystal clear on what you're doing. So I think that's a really important, those sort of 3 areas I've just covered there, I think, again, are real recipes for success. Where I've seen Firstbeat Life embedded in a solution or solutions within service providers is really, I think, 3 areas that I see succeed time and time again. And you will have your own propositions, and that's fine. And I think you'll know your own USPs. But if I just bucket around education, so content education, as well as coaching and behavioural change and health behavioural change, and then obviously using our measurement technology as well. I call that the magic trifecta. So you're getting the content, the education, you're getting the coaching, and then you're getting the data. And I think that's a really a winning combination as well. In terms of going out to your clients and getting their buy-in, I do think for some VIPs, especially if you're looking at group analysis and you might be talking to a business and they want to do this on 10 or 20 of their staff, I do sometimes think it's worth doing an assessment or with a 3-month subscription or a 6-month subscription on a key decision maker. If you can coach and get their buy-in, I think it often leads to a project win. And that's something that I would encourage. You could do that at cost. So, just the cost of the device so that you're not putting a margin on, etc. But that could be a nice way of getting engagement straight away to win a project, or to win a highly influential person within a business that will spread the word for your business as well. So do consider that as a kind of, I call it demos for VIPs, because that works. I've seen that work time and time again. I do think when you're looking at, I'm starting to talk a little bit about group analysis now. There's the individual side, and some people will do individual only, others will do individual and group. But in essence, actually, for an individual assessment or a group, it's all about the preparation. It's all about getting the device to the person on time. It's all about thinking about their first coaching session or the baseline measurement. And I said here, preparation, preparation, preparation. It's really essential that get the device to the person on time. Just give yourself a little bit extra leeway, that you're ready and if you're having a kickoff, that you prepare that kickoff incredibly well. Because that first, it's like, walking into a house to buy for the first time. That first impression means everything, both on a group and an individual level. So preparation, preparation, preparation. The last 2 points, if you're looking at scalability around Firstbeat Life, it might be, instead of being able to cost in a lot of individual coaching sessions, as soon as you're getting into the big territory, it might be worth considering doing group feedback. And I know Tina's an expert in that area, but that might be where you're getting more people dialing in and you're talking about the overall group report. And it could be a way of getting more seats at the table rather than on an individual basis, which might make it cost prohibitive when you scale it right out. So that's something to consider as well. If you are doing groups and you haven't done groups before, I do think it's better to do sort of almost like a launch and learn. Some people call it pilots, but start smaller and manage that really well, and then build that out from there, because it's important. I quite like groups of 10 to 20 to 30 as a starting point. I think that's a nice pilot or a launch to learn proposition that gives you the experience to be able to manage that, I think, comprehensively and well. And I think that really is a nice place to start those sort of numbers as well. So I think when I reflect on all that, what I've seen over the many years of what are the key recipes for success and what will make Firstbeat Life work well within your business. We're here to support you. We want to make it work, and there's some of the tips that I would suggest. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. I did say I'd talk more about some of the key outcome measures. These are quite specific for personal trainers or a type of health coach, but they could be the same outcome measures or slightly worded differently for a health coach, a wellness coach, a clinician, a resilience coach, an executive coach, etc. We are getting a lot of partners coming in from all those different worlds. And, some might be more relevant. If I look there at the stress and recovery balance, that might be more focused around resilience programs within companies that we support many, some on a UK, and some on a global level as well. So that may be something that is maybe more paramount than perhaps a personal trainer, where it might be a little bit more around training effect or the health effects of physical activity. I think all are really valuable if you're looking at a holistic window of an individual and a group. So I wouldn't neglect them, but some might have a little bit more relevance for the target market that you're addressing. So just going through them, restorative effective sleep. So that is an area of huge interest at the moment, as we know. We know that sleep, poor sleep over a long period of time or getting poor recovery really is a precursor to burnout. And we do need, and that's the place that we're going to get the most parasympathetic activity or recovery. So it's an area that we need to focus on with our clients. The health effects of physical activity, incredibly important. We know the value of physical activity and exercise is medicine. And so we need to get that as a key area, and also understanding how physical activity affects overall, are we sort of overworking, overtraining, etc. So getting a snapshot of not just the quantity of physical activity, but also the quality of physical activity as well. Training effect, we really, some clients certainly don't know what effect they're getting from their training, and we do know that there's different levels there, and that we need to be we need to have a certain amount of training effect for my own physiology to get it right. Fitness level, it's good to get a baseline measure, especially around how fit somebody is, and that's a key metric as well, certainly for, I think, all of us. Stress and recovery balance, as I said, gets a lot of attention. That balance between parasympathetic and sympathetic in the corporate and resilience world. And then body resources, how is that person's overall load and, recovery, and can we prevent overtraining as well? So these are some key outcome measures that we can get. and that you can embed within your proposition. But I think it's valuable. And also with the acknowledgement that from an applied physiology tool, this is research grade data. And this is data that will enhance your offering. So, what I wanted to do also is just to do a little bit of a deep dive into some wellness, some case studies basically on how some professionals are utilizing Firstbeat Life successfully in their business. So I'll start off with the PT, Yannicka, and I'm just going to move my, because of my window of where I'm speaking is over the words. So client, she really focuses on women in the 30 to 50 age bracket for weight loss and other lifestyle changes. She uses Firstbeat for both on an individual and group coaching method. And what she's found and reported back to us is a 50% revenue increase within a year from additional maintenance programs, which I'll talk about in a minute, where users conduct Firstbeat Life measurements independently after an intensive coaching 3-month period as well. So what she is getting is getting retained clients for longer periods of time. And she's able to coach them on an intensive 3-month basis. Firstly, I would always suggest with Firstbeat Life, there needs to be a baseline measure. You're always going to look at, baseline to next measurement, but we need that baseline, a 3, 4, or 5 day measurement. And then for her, it's very much around an additional 2 measurements per month. Now, what I would say is this is not prescriptive. This is very much the great thing about Firstbeat Life is it's flexible. So you need to make it work for your business. It might be that, there's more measurements per month or less measurements per month. That's really down to you and how you work with your clients and how you can embed it within your service. So you'll see she's seeing clients face-to-face once per week. She's using the data to find suitable exercise for the clients and find ways to promote recovery as well. And she tinkers with the training program based on the results. So that's that 3 months of intensive where they're using Firstbeat Life on a much more intensive and coaching supportive solution. And then she continues with 6 months of maintenance period where the clients can go off and measure themselves more independently and touch base a little bit more on an ad hoc basis with Yannicka, and she can provide feedback on a needs basis. The person over that 3 month has got a great insight into their physiology, their insights, how their behaviors are influencing their physiological response. And then they understand themselves so much better in that 3 months. And then over the following 6 months, there's more of a maintenance period that's going on. So amazing for her to get an increase in revenue like that she wouldn't have had before. And, in terms of retainment of clients, amazing as well. So this is just some examples of coaching services that could be relevant for any coaching really. And this is, something that is not prescriptive. I've just put some ideas together of, perhaps you could use it like this, but, perhaps you could use it in a different way. But, in terms of getting started, it's more around that sort of first initial deeper insights, wellness assessment, to see Firstbeat Life for at least 2 measurements to see the client's initial status and progress. What I find interesting on human behavior is I don't like to typecast anyone. There's sort of 3 buckets with clients. There's the person that is going to wear it every single week. Their analysis is paralysis or their quantified self. They want to know everything. And this is something that, Firstbeat Life will be attached to them. Then there'll be somebody who will be someone who's incredibly interested, but will more likely do it over that 3-month period a couple of times each month, maybe 3-4 times per month over the 3-month period. And then you'll get somebody who will wear it certainly for the baseline, maybe once more during the 3 months, and then at the end is for a follow-up to look at the outcome measure changes. So that's an interesting area with wellbeing assessments. I would look at that on that type of personality. I mean, the great thing with Firstbeat Life is it's unlimited measurements that period, so that it's suitable for all those 3 types of people. That they can do unlimited measurements, how often they want, and what sort of insights they get. So that duration is that assessment, that insights. On the journey is that more 6 to 12 months. And we do know that, physiology changes based on the individual. It's different for different people, but we do know it takes a bit of time to instill behavioral change and physiological response. So, this period is sort of on the journey. We can, checking in, looking how you're doing, what's the physiological change. This is where we want to see some significant behavioral change. And then perhaps once they've finished their 6 or 12 month subscription, they might want to add on another fixed term, because they want to sustain and maintain. They're on track, but they want to make sure that they're keeping on track. So this is just a little model I put together that gives you an example there as well. A second case study is ActPro, who are a corporate coaching business. So they do, ranging from individual users to very large organizations. They deliver remotely and also on site as well. And they work across boundaries. And I think it's worthwhile noting that, we can work across countries. We're in sort of a number, and we've got a link towards the end, which will tell you what countries we are. And we often do cross-country supporting businesses that do cross-country projects. And, we've got a number of languages that we are in as well at the front end app. So this is a 6-month coaching program where each employee conducts Firstbeat Life measurements independently as often as they can. They do 2 45-minute coaching sessions conducted remotely. And then this is again an example of where they bring their own finesse, their own USP to the proposition. They have their own coaching content, such as webinars and online lectures to support self-leadership and personal targets in the coaching sessions. And again, something that's unique for them, they provide common monthly tasks for the whole staff with varying themes, stress recovery exercise to support the development of personal wellbeing, and encourage to measure the wellbeing actively. They do additional services of group reports and analysis for groups of 10 people. So you can see there, they have embedded Firstbeat Life into their proposition, but it's all about coaching. It's all about content, and it's all about their own USP. So they wrap it all up in terms of a 6-month program. Oh, sorry. Eric out of New Zealand. So he is very much around health, wellness and performance for corporate clients. I'll move fairly quickly on this, but he has a signature leadership program over 4 months. Again, he has a baseline, a midpoint and an end of program, so we can see how people's outcome measures, how they're tracking. And then he has his own educational component and leadership coaching with a focus on resilience, wellbeing and leadership effectiveness. He has a program for professional staff as well, which is not so in depth, so slightly lighter, so only a baseline Firstbeat Life measure, but he looks more around for that cohort or that group of people. He does group sessions and online learning, so it's not as in depth as his signature leadership program. So therefore he can work on 2 propositions using Firstbeat Life, which are quite different. I just wanted to show you, I was thinking again the other night about a couple, just showing you a bronze and silver and gold, and again, not prescriptive. Please don't take this as the mantra, but this is a nice, I thought, way of looking at it, where you could have a bronze or a silver or gold proposition where you have a kickoff event where, and these prices, please, they're not, you need to build your own prices. This might be a guide, but certainly I would, this is just something that I've looked at. If a company came to me and said, we want a proposition for 20 participants, what can you do? And I like giving people a few options so that they have a low, medium and higher costing. So this is very much a kickoff. Devices are dispatched. I quite like kickoffs live, so you can give the devices and people can hold them and they can get moving straight away, but you can do it very effectively remotely. Everybody gets a Firstbeat Life device and a 3-month subscription, and then 2 coaching sessions at the lower end. The silver, the same, but we bring in a webinar and content, probably around, certainly around stress recovery, sleep, physical exercise, etc. These are more coaching sessions, a longer subscription period, and a group report and feedback. And then the gold really is a 12-month subscription, and again, more coaching sessions. But again, very much just, giving you an idea of what you can do. How to embed Firstbeat Life to support your services, where you can do it from, a coaching, a status check, independent measurements and learning away from your coaching side of things. You can discuss the report in a coaching session, independent measurements and learning, and then a follow-up as well. These slides will be sent to you. I want to get a little bit of time for Q&A at the end as well. Some really great reads. I would suggest looking at Firstbeat Life and wearables, what's the difference? It's a question that comes up time and time again. I think it's a question that comes up if you lead with Firstbeat Life, saying, I want to put Firstbeat Life on you. It doesn't come up so much when you embed it into your proposition and it's, supporting your coaching tools. So just be aware of that. We've got plenty of science. We've got 20 years of research and white papers. Please do, if you really want to know the proposition and the technology really well, read those white papers. The availability link there as well, what countries we can work in, and then an overall Firstbeat Life for wellness as well. A little bit about assets and resources is around the online training course as well. Our partner website, which I encourage you to go to once you've signed up and you've become a partner. Obviously, you will do your training, but you've got all your resources there. The guys have got, there's regular clinics and training. We've got a material bank of everything. So I would encourage you to go there. All the things you need are really there in that partner website. And we've got obviously partner support and technical support as well. So really, we're here to support you, and we've got all the assets to support you with. And I'd say, are you ready to join? I know there's a lot of existing users that have come here to listen to this today. So welcome and hello. But also, if you're new, and I know there's quite a few people listening in today, we can sign up for free today. We will retrospectively send you an email. You can join that link down the bottom there, and you can get cracking straight away. Do the training. Tina's world-class training as well. You can get into that, and then you can go for your life. So Tina, I'm going to head it back to you. Thank you so much for that. I hope that's been useful for you. And I guess we will go to questions.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. And we had a nice group of people online, well over 100 people. So it's great to have a group, and we have still about 5 or 8 minutes here for questions. If you have some questions, please write them in the Q&A. And we had some questions ahead of time. I think I'll pick a few of the previously sent questions also, because there were some really good ones that had come to us. One was that I can actually answer it myself, but it was a good question that patients often think they don't need a stress analysis because they already know that they are stressed. How do I best counter this point of view? I do think it's a good point, because of course everybody is stressed, but I think that's sort of the whole point of what this kind of data can allow you to address, because it's not about eliminating stress in life. It's not about getting rid of that red stress in people's lives, but to understand that stress is meaningful only if we also can recover. And I think the kind of data that we can show when we saw those examples of the 24-hour data, it can help the person understand that, okay, I have enough stress in my life, but it looks like I'm actually able to recover well enough. Or sometimes they see that the stress levels are so high that there is essentially no recovery after all, and that the data can really help them cope with stress in a way that's meaningful, rather than somehow make it into an unnecessary evil thing that they need to get rid of, because that's not going to be realistic. So data can really help get that balance right. There was a question also about the difference between Firstbeat Life, lifestyle assessment, and the research. What Firstbeat service can I, as a physiotherapist, offer? So I think I already sort of covered that, but just to clarify, so the lifestyle assessment, that's basically extinct. So you need to forget about that because it's no longer available. So Firstbeat Life is clearly the offering that you can offer if you are any kind of a coach or a physiotherapist or nutritionist or psychologist, wellness coach. The research offering is mainly designed for academic research, and it's completely different kind of pricing. And if you do have questions about that, then you can reach out to Tim or to our sales team, and they can let you know the details about that kind of an offering. But as a commercial offering, clearly Firstbeat Life is the offering that you can have for your clients. Let me see what other questions we have here. There's a lot of questions here. There's some country-related questions, so I refer, if you are from a specific country, please refer to that link that Tim mentioned that looks where we are available, or you can reach out directly to our customer success. You can see the email here.
I think it's worthwhile saying about countries. We are well covered, in the globe. Australia strong, UK, United States, the EU, right across Europe. China now as well. So we are pretty well covered, and we're increasing that all the time. So you know, just keep abreast of that link that I've in this deck, and that will come to you, because that does get updated quite regularly. The other great thing about Firstbeat Life is that there are updates happening quite a lot as well. So you get more frequent updates with the Firstbeat Life system than you did get with the Firstbeat Lifestyle Assessment. Right. Both on the portal back end for coaches and for the front end client as well. And we do listen to our partner network to make those changes as well.
Yeah. There's a couple of questions about who owns the data or privacy issues. So I do recommend first going to our website onto a privacy page that sort of explains where the data is stored and how that all happens. That has been very carefully considered with the Firstbeat Life offering. And for example, the data that if I'm the client, the data that I see on my app, that's only seen by myself and by you if you are that person's coach. But for example, the company never can see the data that the client's results. So that is very, very personal for that individual who has the app, and then only the designated coach on the admin tool can view their data. But we do have a comprehensive page on the privacy kind of issues. So be sure to check that out. There's a question about if we have experience with academia, stress in academia. So, I mean, just in general, we have done projects with a whole bunch of different professional groups, including quite a few projects with academia, both ourselves and our partners. So certainly a very fruitful area to study, because obviously the pressures there are heavy, like they are in many other fields. So by all means, that's a good area to study. We are working with some projects with, for example, the local university right now on different levels of academia stress. Tim, there's a few questions sort of about the pricing. You mentioned some examples of pricing for how the partners could price it for their clients, but just on a general level, like if you're offering a 3-month license, for example, versus the annual subscription, so what's the price? How is the pricing go with that?
Yeah, so I'll probably quote in euros. So we do, obviously the devices come in at 115 and come down from there based on volume. So do reach out to us on that. They are cheaper if you do bulk shipping as well. So if you get more than 10 of those, we can do deals on bulk shipping or bulk orders. Subscriptions start at €9 per month, but we do a minimum of 3 months. So that's 9 3s 27. I hope my maths is good. So therefore, that's the initial outlay, and then it's subsequent months after that. If you're doing longer subscriptions, you can bulk buy packs of subscriptions, like 3 or 6 months, so it makes it cheaper overall. So they're your kind of core costs. But what I would suggest is come to us, and we can give you a good breakdown of what all the costs are, including electrodes, including talking about shipping, depending on what countries you are, etc. So yeah, do reach out to us, and we can send that with, in the link there. We've got a link on pricing it's actually on our website as well. So very comprehensive, and we can talk to you about that.
Yeah,
what the needs basis is. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, and clearly if you think that the price is approximately €10 or €9 per month, so that clearly highlights that the value of having the measurements for a little bit longer period of time, the cost addition from a few additional months is actually going to be very small, but it allows people to do those kind of learning experiences and try a few different things instead of just having like a spot check in a certain situation. So clearly that's why we've encouraged that the 3 months would be a minimum to allow that kind of a learning curve to happen. There's a question if Firstbeat Life is appropriate to use on high-performance athletes, and that's also been uplifted here by somebody else. So just a quick comment that I would say that clearly it's not a sports monitor. It's not designed as a training monitor from all your workouts. So clearly a high-performance athlete would have something else to monitor their day-to-day training, but Firstbeat Life, of course, as a recovery measurement or recovery tool, can be very beneficial for teams. The Firstbeat Sport solution is clearly the right one to go with, but for individuals, quite a few athletes are monitoring their recovery with Firstbeat Life, and gives them an idea that is their training load too much, or are they able to handle the training that they're doing. So for that purpose, I would say that it's very, very appropriate, especially in regular monitoring.
Yeah, and I think also it gives a snapshot of outside of training. So, you know, there's a lot of focus of in training and in game, but there's not so much around downtime. And I know some, you know, this is not my area. I tend to work more in the corporate arena, but getting an insight into the other, you know, times when they're not training or they're involved with a club, why not get some performance in that area? Because that makes up a lot of time in the week as well. So some clubs are getting more focused on that.
Yeah. I'm going to take one more question. We are right on the time, but there's a question that is it so that there is information on the app that you cannot see in the admin portal results, for example, training effects? So no, the same information is available to the client via the app and to you as a coach via the admin. The view is not identical. So like Tim emphasized earlier, that you need to kind of get to know the admin portal and the view there, because it's laid out a little bit differently, but all the same key values that you can get in the app, they are also available for the coach, of course, in the web report. Great questions, you guys, really good ones. I think I've touched on most of them, and if you had some very specific questions for a specific model or specific country or price, so then please do reach out to us here at Firstbeat or directly to Tim, for example. But thanks, Tim. Valuable commercial insights today. And thank you, everyone who joined us today. And hopefully we'll see you next time. We have another webinar coming up next month with James Hewitt talking about cognitive stress and how to deal with that. So hopefully we'll see you next month in that webinar.
Thanks all. And yeah, do reach out if you've got any questions.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.